3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
All right, cool. So my thought was word association.
Yeah.
And just like it's actually kind of cool. I was listening to this podcast. It's this guy, he does a wrestling podcast, and he's like, this is the podcast for the casual wrestling fan. He goes, I'm not the internet wrestling community. I don't know I don't know the name of every wrestler. I don't know
So you know more than him, basically, is what
I
you're
think
saying?
I know more than him, but he's like, look, I watch WWE, I catch some of AEW, like I don't know what the match in New Japan was over the weekend. Like I don't.
What's New Japan?
New Japan Pro Wrestling is you could probably argue they're probably top 5 like bigger wrestling promotions in the world. But they're but a lot of talent. There's a lot of people that go over to New Japan. Wrestling in Japan is so different too. Like pro wrestling in Japan is like people get dressed up.
Oh, it's
they
like
go
the
to
opera.
events, and like crowds are like relatively quiet because it's like the opera, and like you'll get oohs and ahs off different moves. But it's a relatively high class event when you go to pro wrestling events. Yeah, it's total opposite of like Redneckville here, or what used to be Redneckville. I don't know where I was going with that, but it was like, that's a good kind of like way to think about it too. Like the podcast being like for the casual wrestling fan. It's like, oh, this like podcast to be like the casual CrossFitter, like we're talking about like
Savan Matosin.
Like most people here don't know who Dave Castro is. Don't care, right? So I don't think that had anything to do with my list. But
I'd like to include all this. I think we should include all this in this week's episode.
Cool.
We'll see but this was good. This was sort of we're kind of in it, folks. If you're listening right now,
we're in it.
Yeah. So welcome, Grounds After Rounds. Do you know this is
episode 200?
This is episode 200.
Episode 200. We made it.
I don't know to what. You know what I mean? Like it's
200 episodes.
Exactly.
What's Joe Rogan on now? Like 12,000.
Joe Rogan's in a lot of hot water with Spotify. There's a whole thing about.
Oh yeah, there's I mean, people disagree with the things he says, and
it's not so much even disagreeing. It's like what they're getting pushback on is he's putting out like documented false. He's not putting it out. He's not stopping.
He's referring to it. He's referring to something that he found via the interweb, via this and that. Like I saw the one where like he had, was it a doctor that he had on, and he said this and that, and the doctor's like, no, actually that's wrong. And if anything, well, there you go. It's out there. It's wrong.
Well, and then there were other ones that the guest said something that was clearly wrong. Nothing's gonna happen because again, like it's the Howard Stern argument. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Like don't listen to it.
He's also like the number one, like they're not gonna kick him off.
Right now for Spotify, right? Spotify's not gonna do anything. But I mean that's Spotify's argument is so we're just a platform. Like it's not our responsibility to police.
No.
Like it's but the question comes down to, if I'm Rogan, do I have a moral responsibility if I'm being followed and influencing that many people to be more rigorous with the information that I put out?
Probably.
Right. Like and in the end, like, I don't know, you can't.
You can also make mistakes.
Totally.
Like, because I feel like Rogan is someone who if he's wrong, and you prove that he's wrong,
he'll come around.
He'll tell you.
I don't listen to him enough to know what his style is.
He's like, my understanding is like, if you prove to him what he's saying is wrong, he will admit that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and I think he's a good, I don't know.
The complaint I heard, and again, like this is so, and actually the couple of episodes I have listened to him, his style is so long form that he doesn't interrupt his guests, which is great. It creates an environment though where the guests aren't challenged, and so there's that's not true. There's no feedback. Like it's sort of he just where he just lets the guests talk. The 2 times that I heard him and the person was saying something, and it was like, well, that's not true. There was no devil's advocate or as the host. And again, it's style choices. Yeah. He didn't offer like, I hear it, I agree with you, but what would you say to a a detractor if that detractor said to you, da, 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 and he offers the other side of it. And I was like, I kind of walked away from listening to him consistently, if ever I was going to, because I was like, well, I could just listen to that echo chamber anyway.
It's funny. I've heard him do it both ways. I think so. I've seen it too, where like, yeah, because he wants people to say what they have to say.
Yes.
But he also wants the same respect. And there's times where you've seen him like they'll say what they have to say, and he'll start saying, well, what about ball? And then he'll keep getting cut off by that person. And so sometimes I think he plays he'll play at the end of the day, there needs to be a conversation, or there needs to be some, I don't know. Look, he's put out like 10,000 episodes. Right. He's not going to get it right every single time.
Yeah.
His guests are like, it's also like, again, it's long form. There's no editing really outside of, so like you said, if you don't like it, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
I think
somebody like Dax on Armchair Expert has gotten better at offering, but again, it's his style. He does discourse better, and has gotten better in the last couple months.
Dax's episode is about that person that he has on the show. It's not about Dax and what Dax wants. It's about,
now it is.
Yeah.
But for a while there, he was a little too from my style choices, everything had to relate back to him. That was his move to make it personal. He now uses that though in a much
good conversation.
He uses it to make a good conversation, I think now. And so I was listening to Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is more, he's done hours of research on this guest. And so he's going to ask questions to get the guest the opportunity to unpack exactly what the guest's thing is. So again, like they're all different styles. Bottom line, it comes down to like Spotify's not going to do anything, and they shouldn't do anything. It's an open source. I mean, it's free if you want to not pay and just listen to it. And if you don't like it,
or you go on YouTube and listen to it for free,
turn
or you can
off.
go anywhere and listen to it for free.
Yeah,
you don't like it, turn it off.
And my mom and dad always used to, my dad especially, he's like, and if you're getting all of your information from a man, Joe Rogan, who was an actor and then an MMA announcer, and you're getting your health information from him, you may want to check what you're using as your touchstone of information. Like, you know what, like, hey, maybe he's got some stuff on there that's great, but like, I don't know, I would maybe do my own research, or talk to my doctor, other doctor, you know what I mean? Like, talk to people who are recognized, board certified professionals who have some sort of, again, it always comes down to, what is the punishment if you get it wrong? If you go to jail for getting it wrong, you have a distinctly higher degree of motivation for not getting it as wrong. Nothing happens to Joe Rogan if he gets it wrong. He loses some listeners, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he doesn't really care if he gets it wrong.
Or he gets called out. And like I said, if you
who cares? But if I'm losing my license and I can't pay my mortgage and I might go to jail for malpractice, well, then I'm going to try really hard to get it right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that's a good.
That's my 2 cents.
That's a good. I think that's a good like rule to live by. Yeah. If I could go to jail, lose my job, lose my license, lose my family.
Well, I mean, that's the scope of practice. Like, if your scope of practice, you stay within the scope of your practice, and within that scope of practice, there is some sort of punishment for doing it incorrectly. Most likely, that's bottom line. Like, that's what rules and regulations do, is they just keep us, it's just enough. It keeps good people doing good things. You know, criminals are going to do criminal stuff. Like, you can't, whatever. But anyway, we digress. Joe Rogan, that was what it got, because you said he does word, or was the wrestling back to word? It
was funny. I was just thinking about, so my thought was like, do word association, and then my thought was like, all right, word association. It's not like I'm going to say word, you give me a word, like, just give me your,
it's not
give me your thought,
it's
right?
Not
like
catchphrase or not $10,000 pyramid, or what was
something like that, or taboo, or what's that? No.
But it's the one where it's is
a pyramid?
I think it is. Yeah, like bottle caps.
A ghost.
Threaded.
What game is that? I always imagine like Joey on the pyramid with Johnny Austin, right?
I think there's a Saturday Night Live skit too.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh, it's like, but it's like back in like the 60s or
yeah,
something.
the guy
like,
had
just
it
to
was
make
a he was a Spanish, like I think he was Spanish or Portuguese or something, and he didn't understand. He goes,
Yeah.
No sé. They just kept going and
Oh
going.
my God.
Oh,
That show. Yeah, so this is like I'll throw out and like without
it starts a conversation.
starts a conversation, and like and my thought was like to the casual. So I'm like, what's word associated?
Oh,
with
right,
CrossFit?
because the casual wrestler
yeah,
podcast. Got it.
right.
I like it.
So like so I'm gonna start simple with like a couple movements and then a couple. So it's kind of like it's stuff that we've talked about before, but maybe now the mindset is like, how do we to the casual CrossFitter, to the person that's like just gives a general like basic understanding of what this thing is. And so anyway, so like number one, like I said, I'm gonna start off simple, and I'm probably super overthinking it, but the word burpees, that's your first word, like word association burpees, like good, go for it. Yeah, like that's I throw a word.
Awesome, simple, multi-joint, irreducible movement, which mimics.
What is irreducible? So that's what like casual, like irreducible, like
you can't break it down into its individual components and get as much benefit from those individual components and then build it back up. If I was a word nerd and talking in German, it would be called the Gestalt, that the thing is more than the sum of its parts.
Okay.
So like this gym is in a sense a Gestalt of community, in that it's not just weights, it's not just working out, it's not just right. It is for some people like this is their entire social network.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell does that happen? I don't know. It's just it's a phenomenon that it is something is more than the sum of its parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't reduce a burpee down into a push up, a squat thrust, and a
good morning.
Yeah, like I can't break it down into its individual components and get a burpee.
Like if you do 5 good mornings, 5 push-ups, 5 even like mountain climbers.
Correct.
Right. Like,
yeah.
Okay, but it's not
burpee. 5 burpees.
Yeah.
That's not when you finish the 5 burpees, the physical stimulus that you receive from doing those 5 burpees will be more potent than the 5 broken down, isolated, isometrically singular movements. So that's where irreducible, and you don't need anything. And if you can do a burpee, you have just delayed entrance into the old people go disappear home and die home by 5 years, 10 years. Like every time you
laying down on the ground and
lay down on the ground, get back up. Basically what that means is you can fall over and get back up on your own.
Which seems like for us right now, it's like silly. I fall down all the time. I get right back up. But I think about like, it's funny. Like I think about my mom who is, 70 and like several years removed from a stroke. Like, right now she can, but like 2 years from now, can she fall down and stand up? Like, so that's
a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's the squat, right? The squat is squat down into a chair, stand back up, walk 10 feet, turn around, walk back to the chair, sit back down. That's the test to see if you're ambulatory on your own in a retirement home.
Yeah. So
burpees,
you
need to be able to get up out of bed, go take a shit, stand back up, walk back into bed.
And do that several more times a day if you're regular. Like
right.
Me.
But so that's, I think the burpee, everyone complains about it. And it's,
I think it's like just to make you suffer.
Right. But it's hard, but it's such a simple, basic movement. I mean, it was one of the first things you learn as a plebe. I'm up, I'm running, they see me, I'm down. Right. It's fire team, 3-person advance squad tactics, that you are in a 3-person squad or fire team, 3 fire teams to a squad. And you move, shoot, move, cover, shoot, move, cover, shoot, move, cover. And that's you pop up, pop up out of the burpee. They see me, I'm down. You're down at the bottom of the burpee and you're in a prone position. Now you're cover fire, move, next person, moving, pop up, boom, so very, very functional. Or just fall down and get up in your living room.
Just lay down, stand up.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do 7 minutes for time. Just do a few burpees a day. Like you said.
I still think though the grief burpees in that overhead squat, burp or overhead lunge, burpee, overhead lunge, chest to bar pull up workout, 2014, 2015, I forget what year. I remember doing that in McDonough Hall.
Those were
bar facing burpees.
Yeah.
Those were the most dramatic, grief-ridden, just
The athletes or the burpees?
both, all of it. It was so, though, that was like, how did he figure out how to make burpees harder?
So true. I'll tell you, even burpee box jumps, like that little pause you get before you jump on the box, like it's almost like a little bit of like, you can find a good rhythm and just keep
bar facing
burpees.
They're horrible. I think they're worse than the box jump ones.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
You're right.
And
Totally.
like you go to jump on that bar and you're like, I think I have legs. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it just made it.
Yeah.
Like
Because it's so short. You should just be able to keep moving.
There's no reason not to go faster than them, right?
It's demoralizing.
Yeah.
So yes.
How did he do that?
So how did he figure this out?
Jesus.
Yes, I love them. Burpees.
All right. Muscle up.
Sad how big of a deal it is for CrossFitters.
Right.
When we came out of the gymnastics seminar that day one, I mean, it's not even a scored movement in gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like it's just
a utility
you're just
movement,
getting up onto the bar.
Yeah.
7-year-old little rubber people do them and don't even think about it because they're getting up ready for their routine.
So why do them?
Because they are, so that's the
Shout out.
It is the manifestation of the full range of motion of the shoulder joint from full extension to full flexion. And so around a fixed object.
There you go.
That's it. Because if I keep my arms straight and I hold them up over my head and then I hold my arms straight and I put them down at my side, I'm now on top of, and imagine there was a bar here. I'm now on top of the bar. I'm now below the bar. I'm now on top of the bar. I'm now below the bar. So demoralizing as they are for a lot of people, doing the scaled and modification with the one with the jump, the box, whatever, lower the bar, I think they are a great educator for how simply by scaling a movement effectively and appropriately for you, you can see how if your house was on fire and you were on a first or second story and you had to surmount up into a windowsill, out the window, and then out of the house to save your life. And, the dog that you had in your bag and the kid that was dangling on your shoulder, you could do that. And that box jumping burpee or box jumping muscle up shows people, look, you can do this. Yeah. So it's a very empowering.
Even simpler. I think you used it once and it's like stuck me every time. It's getting out of the pool.
Yeah.
It's that jumping, getting out of the pool.
There you
go. You said that to me once. I was like, that's exactly what that scale is. And it's like,
yeah.
You don't need the steps to get out of the pool.
I can get out of the pool.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a very empowering, similar to a burpee.
Yeah.
You've just made yourself a more functional human being in the world in which you live in and less reliant on whatever technology service thing that modern culture is going to tell you need.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
Just be a human who moves.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a great movement. Cool. My next word, volume.
Inappropriate or new. I don't know. What do you?
It's nuanced.
Pump it up.
So like in the
Christian Slater.
So I think in the when people start like feeling real good about CrossFit, they feel like they need to be doing more.
Okay.
Like the 1 hour is not enough. What else could I be doing?
Gotcha.
So the word
it's
volume.
deceptive. It's a chimera. Like you can chase it all day long.
Is that one of those monsters from The Witcher?
I don't think.
Oh, that's
so.
a Kikamura.
Oh,
my bad. Okay, go ahead.
That's good. Are you watching The Witcher?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got Meg to watch it with me.
How far are you in? Are you in?
We're only like
four.
No. We're only like four. We're only like 4 or 5 episodes in.
I'm having difficulty catching fire with the second season because I don't know what's happening. Like
I just realized that the timelines are not running parallel.
No, and they make it even worse in the second season. Like which I like that about the first season, but the second, like I didn't remember what happened at the end, and so I'm trying to remember, and then it's like, but it caught. Like I'm third or fourth episode in, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I got it again. Yeah. Plus, I love what's his face, it's Superman.
I told Meg they're like, so this new Flash movie that's come out is kind of resetting the DC universe, where like basically like Batfleck doesn't exist, Henry Cavill Superman like doesn't exist, like didn't happen. So like I think Henry Cavill's out as Superman.
Oh.
And Meg's like, and this is the first time she's really like seen him, and she's like, how do you not continue to cast the most perfect like build, jaw, like hair,
he's
voice,
exactly what you'd expect
like,
Superman to look like.
He is the like epitome of what I was like, Meg, calm down. Yes, he makes a great Superman. He's very handsome, strong.
Yeah.
But it's like, man. Anyway.
I do dig him. He's fun. I like him.
I like him a lot.
He's just sort of like tortured, anyway. Yeah. And he's not too bad to look at. Um,
And he goes, when he was like, someone's in trouble.
so you're right. Oh God, I gotta do it again. So volume. Don't do more, do less better.
Do less better.
Always.
It's real
Always,
simple.
always. The only time that wouldn't be the case is when the volume is designed to stimulate or elicit a very specific stimulus, right? 150 wall balls of Karen, the 150 is on purpose. If you can do Karen correctly, you should be able to do it in 5 sets of 30. That's right. And about 1 to 1.5 minutes per set of 30. So you are in a 5 to 7.5, 5 to 8 minute time range. The volume drives the stimulus on that one. That's the whole point. Everything scales around the volume. If we have somebody who is limited in whatever, okay, then you dial down the intensity with a change in volume. If we're talking about volume, like you just said, well, I need to do 2 workouts. My question is going to be, how did you do 1 workout? Why did you leak all that potential with your shitty mechanics, your slower power output, blah, 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 blah. You don't need to do more. You need to do less better. That's my,
I'll tell you, sometimes too, I think if you need more volume, just like be more intentional in your warm up, which we've had a conversation before.
Make a tempo.
Like there's so much you can do.
Show up on time.
I thought about too, like it's funny, like looking at this week and hearing them kind of talk about like the plan for the week from like a volume standpoint. If you look at the workouts, like these first couple are a little bit shorter, faster. And then you have like the gymnastic stuff is like just for time, like the volume is gonna be varied on you and your skill. But then you have the long one on Saturdays from like a volume standpoint. The way they program the week is it's lighter, faster, less volume early, so by the time you get to the weekend, you're not like cooked. And but it's that exact reason, like do too much.
So I think a good somebody to break somebody of that habit, make them come 6 days a week. And if you can't come 6 days a week, you're probably trying to do too much when you're here. It automatically builds in. You're going to have to do an active recovery at some point during that week. If
you can't come 6 days a week, you're doing too much when you come in.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're doing it you're going too heavy. You're going too hard. You're going too fast. You don't know how to self-regulate. So let the program regulate for you and make Monday, Tuesday hard. Wednesday is active recovery. Make Thursday, Friday hard. Saturday is active recovery type of thing. Or like, you build in an active recovery day. But what that does is it shifts somebody away from thinking every time I walk in the door, I need to make myself into a puddle of goo. And that's the only way I know that I got anything out of it. You're going to end up only being able to come 2 or 3 days. So you could do English major math, right? So if I come 3 days a week out of 7 and I give 90% each of those days, that would be 270%. Sure, right? This isn't actually the way it works. Who's I talking? Oh, we were talking on Saturday. Juliana totally fixed it. She's like, that's not the way percentages work. Stop it. I don't care. Don't let your actual math get in my way.
90% of this is half mental.
But if I come 6 days a week and I only go 50% on each of those days, I just got 300%. So I'm plus 30% of
dialing,
of whatever. Now, the only problem is in those times that I came and I went 90%, we know intensity is where you get it. But my question would be, when you did that 90%, what was actually 90%? Do you know what I mean? Like versus if I only focus, I'm only going to do 2 hard days a week. I'm going to do 2 days where I focus on just practicing. And I'm going to do 2 days where I hold myself accountable to only being at 60% heart rate. Over the course of 3 to 4 months, that person is going to have significantly better improvement than the person who tries to kill themselves every time they walk in. Not so much a question of volume at that point. It's just a more question of doing less better when you're here. Like what I mean by that is like stop.
Majority of the time you don't need more. You need to do less better.
You need to do what you're doing, do it better.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Heavy day. So like now I'm using words like you hear us talk about this, like what does heavy day actually mean? So like, because last Monday the workout, like the deadlifts for the workout were relatively heavy. We even did like the build up to the heavy set of 2 power cleans beforehand, but the heavy day was actually that complex, the thruster, press, jerk.
That's right.
So Monday felt heavy, but Wednesday was our heavy day.
An opportunity to break ourselves of the habit that if I'm not a pull of my own self at the end of a workout, that it wasn't worth it. I think that you will actually get more training stimulus from a heavy day than Cindy. Because neurologically you are taxing yourself in a way that if you do it correctly, the adaptation that you'll experience that day, later that day, whatever. And it's very easy to see if you did it right. If 3 hours after a heavy day, you look at everything and they look like a pork chop and, fried chicken walking down the street, and because you are so hungry that you want to eat everything, then you probably did the heavy day correctly, because your brain requires way more energy than anything else in your body. And if you neurologically taxed yourself on that heavy day with position or the mechanics or whatever, then that's I see what this means. Right? Don't eat everything, like stay on your nutrition plan or whatever, but just know that like that's your body telling you, hey, you still did work. You did a lot of work. It's okay not to break a sweat. Amber right now is like, see, I told you.
No, you're talking about skipping the warm-up, Amber.
Love you, Amber.
100%. Like it's funny. I was surprised. I didn't see what the mornings looked like, but I was surprised. And sometimes I'm surprised I'm not. Like that was such a fun complex. And it was quiet that night compared to the other weeks. And it's like,
because people think this isn't worth it. This isn't worth my time. How is this gonna,
so like,
I'm not gonna
be able to go heavy. Heavy compared to what?
Right. Like it's such
does it feel heavy?
Stop it. Like that. Stop it. So here, that DRT used to say this all the time, which is great. But in the past, like that just doesn't work for me. And you look at the person, you say, you just told me that you've let yourself go. You feel like you're really hurting, that you want to get stronger, and you just don't know what to do. So what you're telling me is everything that you've done in the past hasn't worked for you. And I'm telling you what does work. And now you're telling me that doesn't work for you, but everything you've done doesn't work for you. Why not just give it a shot? Right? Like, who knows? Maybe this would work for you. It's worked for millions of people. It works.
And it's still working.
Like that's the part of, I get it. Rather than say like, well, that just doesn't work, I don't see how that's going to work. How about say, I have a bias against doing things that make me scared of possibly being a failure, because the world has told me failure is not okay. We're telling you failure is the only way you will ever get any better. You have to fail over and over and over and over and over again. And then maybe one time you'll get it. So the quicker you fail, the better, because now we just go, sweet, we just found the edge of your capacity. We'll step back a little bit. Good. Fail. Awesome. Well done.
There we go.
Fail faster next time.
Right. Like, we found your end limit. And now, like I said, now we know where to go from there.
That's
so true.
That's the part when you see somebody who really leans into CrossFit, rather than like they buy the shoes, they got knee sleeves, they got a belt, is they're the person when you say, oof, and they go, I'll try it. And you can see that it's gonna be hard and they're really nervous. I think of someone, to shout out to Marita. I think of an athlete like Marita, who I know does not like, or doesn't immediately have, some of the things we do aren't appealing to her. She'll take a deep breath. I watch it in her face and her body language, and she goes, all right, let's do it. And she does it. And she does it in a way that isn't like, well, I'm doing this to make you happy. It's like, no, because she has adopted a mentality that I know that, I guess she's built a reservoir of trust around, just because she instinctively maybe doesn't like it. She knows that it will probably still work out in the end. And then she's also willing to go, no, like when she doesn't want to do something. Because she will,
also too, because she knows
exactly,
like, because she's willing to do that thing and try it. She knows.
Joe is an athlete too. I think in the last 6 months, he's really learned, like, and I've watched him lean into it. Like, okay, box jumps are a perfect example. They really hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, he tried to work around it and stuff. And he was, and then I forget what he fixed. Either he got new shoes or something, but it was great. And now, and it's same sort of thing. Like it's not a, no, I don't want to do that. It's a, I'm not sure how to do that. And I don't want to get hurt, which I totally appreciate.
Yeah.
And so like, those types of attitudes, but you can't learn that or make that decision unless you show up.
Yeah.
And so heavy day, I think people still have, for some reason, this aversion to a heavy day because they don't think they're going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
But hey, in the end, like,
I find showing up those heavy days will make your cardio days feel, they'll be better.
I get it. World's hard. Like, we all have to make more choices than we want to throughout the day. So if that's the choice that keeps you from taking a hard ride off the Bay Bridge, then all right, don't come. It's all right. Like,
all we're asking is like, we know you may miss heavy days sometimes. Don't not come just because you see it's a heavy day and you don't think you're going to get as much out of it as if we said you're going to do assault bike or, echo bike and double unders and box jumps and kettlebell swing. Like, trust in the heavy days.
That's a good one. 20-minute alternating EMOM with those 4 movements.
Sorry, guys.
That'd be cool. I don't program anymore.
We talked about this a little bit with recovery. And so I want to use the word recovery as a kind of the way you just used it before is, you can come 6 days a week. You can still work out and it be a recovery.
Rest is not recovery. Recovery is an active process. It's an active, you are doing something in recovery. And I think of it, you can use the metaphor with alcoholism. Like, if you are in recovery, you are going to meetings, you are seeing a therapist.
So putting in work.
You are putting in work, because recovery is a process. It's a journey. And so recovering from a workout is not sitting on your couch watching football. That's a rest day.
Or Encanto.
What's Encanto?
You haven't watched Encanto?
No.
It's of course you
You're
don't.
blowing my mind today.
Well, of course you don't, because you don't have little kids that would watch the newest Disney movie.
Oh, I like that one. That's the one where the houses, everyone's got.
Have you watched it yet?
No, but I saw the previews for it.
I
She's the main protagonist is the only one who doesn't have
she doesn't
like
have
a
the
magic
gift, they call
skills
it,
or
the
something.
gift,
But of course she has.
Well, it's funny,
she has her own gift, I'm sure, of some sort.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just not as obvious.
Yeah.
It's
I like shows. I like messages.
It's a
like
great
that.
movie. It's a
Yeah.
great movie. One of the names I was going to do one thing on here, and one of the words was going to be Bruno. And I was like, because then the response would be, we don't talk about Bruno. But that's an Encanto reference. I thought to myself, I was like, oh, Jack probably hasn't watched it. But I think honestly, from you would enjoy it from like the theme that is like
those movies. They do a great job.
Like what their gifts actually are.
Yeah.
And the burden that is those gifts.
Always.
You would.
Gifts are never. That's the that's
You
what
would
the
have-
X-Men did a great job of capturing that from time, especially the last one where they're all old. Where Logan's old. It's Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're tortured.
Yeah.
And what happens when somebody who can read minds is starting to lose his mind? He's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to put that dog down.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, no.
So-
it's like immortality is the worst curse you can have.
Yeah.
That's always the. But anyway, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
No.
I could easily.
Yeah. We probably have. It's probably one of our previous 199 podcasts in there somewhere. Bam.
So what was the word again? It was
recovery.
Recovery. Yeah. It is an active process.
Yeah.
Following some sort of protocol, it requires, in my opinion, as much deliberateness as when you're moving, but it should facilitate. You can get super nerdy, K-Star style, ready state. It should de-inflame. It should lengthen muscle tissues. It should return tissues, joints, and muscle to a state where it is able to return to full range of motion with pain-free action. And so that's it, that I can re-find positions both under tension and not under tension without pain, because pain is the lag indicator of the body telling you either you're moving wrong or you've affected something incorrectly and damaged it.
Yeah.
But if I'm watching your movement and you're moving badly and you have pain, but then we fix your movement and you move and there's no pain, then what it's telling me is it's your movement movement is the lead indicator, then pain being the lag indicator.
Makes sense.
But recovery should facilitate de-inflammation of joints and tissues, return to state of those tissues. I'm messing it up. Anyway, that's K-Star language, and he says it much better when he talks about when he did a whole thing on his knee when he got his knee surgery, and the road to recovery to full depth squat was his whole goal, with like how quickly could he get back.
So, I mean, he didn't just sit with his leg up for months at a time.
Well, they don't. I mean, orthos don't anymore. They don't let you, like, if you get major joint surgery. Again, not an expert, not a doctor, but they're moving. Yeah. Because they realize, like, no,
specifically, obviously,
for that, right.
Like, don't come in and do box jumps after your knee surgery.
I don't think that's what it is. Yeah. And that's so. Yes.
Well, Amy, it's funny. Amy always said emotion is lotion. Yeah. Like recovery days, like move well.
Yes.
And you'll feel freaking good.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's that. So, and it has nothing to do with them flushing out lactic acid. That's actually, I mean, it's probably what it feels like, but that's not really, I don't think that's a thing. But again, not knowledgeable enough or have expertise in that.
I haven't run enough on that lactic acid. So
that's why we use bands.
Oh,
because it helps build your lactic acid.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
good. That was good.
Okay, moving on. This one I like. So you hear it a lot about CrossFit, and it's brought up again with the open. So anyone versus everyone. So from CrossFit or from like the open, it may not. It's not for everyone, but anyone can do it. So like break that down.
That CrossFit. Anyone can do CrossFit, but CrossFit might not be for everyone.
Right.
Yes, because I think if you look at the definition of CrossFit, it is functional movements, and we define a functional movement.
Disconnect. That's on me, actually.
We define a functional movement as uniquely designed to move a large load a long distance quickly, aka it is uniquely designed to elicit high power output. So bicep curls are not a functional movement because you may be able to lift more than, I don't know, something else. Good calf raise. A calf raise is not a functional movement. I can calf raise 3 times more than I can deadlift, but I'm only moving it 2 inches versus the deadlift. And it's also multi-joint. Right. It's irreducible because it's more than the sum of its parts, blah, 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 blah. So functional movements mimic day-to-day activity. You reposted that one gym's CrossFit real life, CrossFit real life. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you can get that same stimulus not in a CrossFit gym. You don't have to do CrossFit to do that. I also get that the 30 or 40% solution done consistently well is also always better than the 100% solution not done at all.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy going to Orange Theory, if you enjoy your Pilates, if you enjoy yoga, if you, right, like, because you like the people there, you like the way it makes you feel, and it brings you into the door and keeps you coming back consistently, then yeah, that's a movement practice. CrossFit is a movement practice. It's a movement practice that over almost 2 decades, over 2 decades of existence has shown that it yields the most effective results. There is not a strength and conditioning program in the world with the highest elite sport program that is not doing CrossFit. Right? They can tell you, no, we do fill in the blank other cool acronyms spelled incorrectly to create a word.
Yeah.
You're doing CrossFit. You're measuring power output.
Even if you say we're doing CrossFit like
yeah. You're doing CrossFit. And the reason they're doing CrossFit is because they are using movements in either time and task domain. They are measuring their performance. They are observing that performance and how it manifests in its ability to exert or elicit power output.
Yeah.
And then they're repeating that and saying, you're improving because your power output is going up.
Yeah.
That is defined by CrossFit for the first time ever, that is fitness. And that you and I can do the same movement with the same loading on the barbell. And if you get 3 more reps than me or finish 3 seconds faster than me, you are fitter. We now just made it a measurable, computable thing. So anyway,
competitory.
Anyone can do that because it's infinitely scalable. But I appreciate that not everybody
It's not
wants
for
to,
everyone.
right? Everyone can eat broccoli, chicken, and
Rice.
sure, I'm trying to think of where the fat would be. Maybe butter if you're
Butter.
like pea,
Butter on
coconut
your-
oil.
Sure.
But I'm sure there's people that
Butter on
are
your
actually
broccoli.
coconut
There you
oil,
go.
right? But you can eat a fat, a protein, and a carbohydrate. Every single one of us. If you have moral, ethical problems, fine, don't eat the chicken. You got lactose intolerance, fine, replace the fat with something else. But you know what I mean? Like, not that meal probably isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
But anyone can eat it.
Yep.
Is that
Yeah.
Too
Nice.
much, too big of a leap?
No, I think it's like very clear. It's like like you can do this.
Yeah.
But it may not be for you, as in like it just doesn't jive
Well,
with what you like to do. It doesn't
I'd say,
jive with
man, I really like what you guys got going on here. I think I need to get in shape before I start this.
Yeah. Why did you come to a gym? We're a gym. You're gonna go to a gym to get in shape.
Yeah, but
so you can
I
come to a
can't
gym?
I can't do it. I mean, like, I can't do what's on that board. I don't even know what the snitch. Hey man, snitches get stitches, all right?
But snatches get batches.
How do you answer? I mean, like, how do you, but teach me, because whenever that person says that, this is my face. Fine, whatever.
Hey,
I'm the best salesman there is.
it's one of those
Fuck
like
off. Whoa, that was aggressive. Sorry. We just got our and
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Here.
Explicit
Do you
rating.
know how to swim? you know how to
Yes, I
swim?
know how to swim.
Did you just wake up and know how to swim one day?
I don't even remember not knowing how to swim. I've been swimming for so
Do you
long.
remember taking
in my
swim lessons?
Nope.
Can you
life.
yeah.
Pick a different.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It was too long, man.
Hey.
What?
Did you know how? Did you drive? Do you know how to
Yes.
drive?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you just get in the
No,
car
I
behind the car when you start
distinctly
driving?
remember learning how to drive with my mother and
And
father.
how to start? You started with mom and dad in the car. You
Yeah.
probably started in a parking lot, maybe, or like around the neighborhood, and then maybe eventually you went on just maybe the roads around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Then when you got more comfortable, you made yourself to the highway.
And I don't do NASCAR. I still don't drive
I
NASCAR.
still don't drive NASCAR,
But I do drive my car every single day.
So
the
it's
same thing.
the progression. It's
I like that.
you got
Ooh,
to
use the
everyone
progression.
everyone that's walked in this door had to start from somewhere. Just different people started different places. So like,
Have you used that before?
now I just came up with it.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
God dang it, man.
So share this clip with your friends that don't
Yeah.
think they're going to do CrossFit.
Everyone learned, right? Nobody is born knowing how to drive,
Mm-mm.
but we do now do it every single day. Hopefully not for long. Hopefully the robots take over. Because
I don't know if I don't know if I can trust a car to drive by itself. I've seen the cars do it. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that lack of control. And I'm pretty easy going with like, I don't want a car driving itself.
do you keep your own refrigerator cold?
No, but it sits. No. Do I keep my own refrigerator cold?
Yeah.
No.
But you trust that the computer that's in there that knows when and how to turn on, and it does it.
But my life isn't.
But it doesn't start a fire every time it turns on. There's a lot of stuff in your refrigerator that should catch on fire.
Okay.
The dryer. You trust your dryer when you run your dryer.
Okay.
Why doesn't the dryer catch on fire?
But I'm not inside the dryer if it catches on fire.
But you're in the house sleeping.
But I can get away from the fire. I can't get out of a car that's driving by itself that's all of a sudden on the fritz. And
I would
catches on
explore
fire.
that further. Explore that further of how many things you sacrifice and give up control of
Sure.
completely
I think
outside.
I think you can come up with better ones that like, because you're inside a car.
So you're inside the airplane. That pilot ain't
Yeah.
flying it.
I don't love flying. I don't love flying. I would much rather drive to my destination than fly.
So
But you're right.
you just statistically have significantly greater chance of dying driving to your destination than you do flying.
I do. But I trust, but no, I totally agree.
This
like
is this
I
is
don't
what's his
actually
face.
know what, you know why I don't like flying? It's not even
Why?
safe about flying. It's the hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
That's what drives me nuts about flying. Yeah.
Once
no.
and then when you get there, you don't have
Yeah.
a car, you got to put them around a car and stuff. I get you.
And then like this the incumbency, it's not I trust pilots. They're
Yeah.
trained professionals. I hope they know what they're doing.
But most of them aren't
But-
flying most of that time.
Yeah.
They don't even fly into the, and I don't know this. You can pilots who listen.
Ignorance is bliss. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know. It's one of those, like, it would take me a minute to get comfortable with a car driving by itself and not having that.
I think what it is too is
It's also all I know.
the development. Agreed. The development of the technology has been more displayed and prevalent. And you have, so I always go to who has a vested interest in cars not being self-driven, and what kind of financial loss will they have? And then who is backing a lot of the negative coverage of the 1 or 2 incidents that happen. They're not out there yet. You know what I mean? Like it's not ready for prime time.
Yeah.
But like go back to sugar, like how much sugar got into the advertising game when they realized, holy shit, this stuff is really bad for us, like toxically bad. No. Kellogg was like, whoa. We need it because our cornflakes taste like cardboard. We need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And they basically advertise.
How do we get the kids on board?
Yeah. So I just always go back to what's the motivation for those things not being on the road by the individuals who would end
And
up
I'll say this
losing
too,
money.
I'm not opposed to self-driving cars. My comfort in being itself, like I think of Brad, like Brad was talking about self-driving cars, like Toyota's doing this big thing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, like Brad could drive.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
Or and he wouldn't
it
drive,
has its-
he would have mobility to be able to get to where he's going.
Right.
And so that's the part too of
So that's why I'm like, I'm not anti self-driving car. I don't know how comfortable I would be sitting in that.
Do you ever ride the train? Like, do you ever ride the metro or anything like that?
Yeah, I despise riding the metro. But again, it's not, this is what I said. It's not out of a distrust of the things I can do. It's also on a rail and it's like going its place.
Yeah.
There's a guy controlling that bus, the bus driver, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a human behind it. I do trust the human element. But I'm not,
despite our tendency to make
it's,
really
but like
bad
I said,
mistakes.
we've made it this far. So like I said, I'm not opposed to it. It would take me some getting comfortable with.
Yeah.
But believe me, if I could sit if it didn't mean I didn't have to drive and I got to sit in the back seat and like read or listen to a podcast, and if you can listen to, the Encanto soundtrack. Anyway, moving on.
Except the robot will pick what our playlists are.
That's right. The bastard's gonna take over.
Yeah, it's the rule. It's like the high school rule. My driver
gonna
gets to control the radio or whatever, and you get like a robot who just wants to listen to like diurnal like.
No, it's gonna be that day where like
the robot, I am driving. I get to pick the radio station.
car, please play the Encanto soundtrack for Fiona. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. I'm not Dave. It's happening.
Yeah. All right. I'm totally on board. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Sorry. As soon as I start seeing Skynet, it's over.
I don't have control of the radio. I'm out.
So
that was good. That was good.
Cool.
That was good.
Awesome. Going to finish. Yeah. Another one too. Like, CrossFit.
I'm still at your analogy of the driving though, learning how to drive. That's good. That's really good.
Cool. Thank you.
Because I think we are all at an age when we at 15, 16, 17, like you remember that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's not an innate skill. And now it is an innate skill. I don't even think about it. And so, and especially if you have children or you've now tried to teach another human being how to drive, you come to realize how hard it is.
Yeah.
Especially if you try to teach them how to drive stick shift, because I don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
Like, teach your kids stick shift, valuable skill.
But like that
aspect
until self-driving cars. Yeah, that's a really good one. I'm trying to think of other ones that would be kind of good.
Swimming's good because it's funny. Like I remember taking swim lessons, but I don't remember not being able to swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, I mean, maybe it was just something by the time I was 2, I swam without anything.
Yeah.
Maybe there's pictures of me like jumping full-fledged off the 3-meter board at like 2.5.
Yeah.
And
how's Fifi was doggy paddling and jumping off the side and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she'll remember not being able to swim. Yeah.
And then then I started swimming competitively when I was 5 and swim from here to the moon and back probably enough. That anyway, this is good. Word association. I like it.
Like I said, just from the we talk about these things a lot, but like here's what we mean by it, without getting to high intensity movements from Russ Broad. Marvin said,
you did,
Marvin goes, CrossFit. I knew that one.
She's level 1 coach.
Oh, she got her L1.
I think
she got her L1. I thought she used to.
Yeah, she used to. I think it has since lapsed. She let it lapse, but whatever. But I love that she. I love that she went. I know that one. CrossFit. That's awesome. That was really good.
That's like dork. Awesome.
Which, by the way, folks, if you haven't met Brad Marvey yet, Brad, this is a funny story. They are my gratitude today.
Oh, cool.
Just seeing them and getting a chance to finally meet Brad.
Yeah.
So Brad reached out over email, said my girlfriend, she lives in the area. I'm in Baltimore, but she's a CrossFitter. Is kind of has expressed that she misses it, but doesn't know where to go. And I saw you guys, and you're super close. can I do a deal where I want to get her a 9-class punch card and surprise her? And so we don't have like a super easy, I mean, you've totally made an amazing B to C, but business to customer interface with the t-shirts and stuff. But that's a little bit more cumbersome for like memberships because of the nature of, I don't just want a random showing up here with I paid $200 for this 9-class. What do I get to do? Like if we did that, we would do Groupons and stuff. That's not the model. So there isn't a very clear interface for that. So it consisted of a handful of emails back and forth. And when you set up the 9-class punch card membership, I wanted Marvy to have access to the system, right? Because I want her to be, so she's going to get all the emails. Now I just ruined the surprise. So Brad and I kind of talked about that. And I was like, okay, when do you want, you're going to give me, so I set it up and I delayed it. And then I said, you're going to give me when you give it to her, I will go ahead and activate the membership, because then she'll get all the things. And I sent him like a receipt with like I put it on like a cool, so he could print it out and like put it in a card or whatever. And it was so fun. And then like he came back, she's like, she loved it. And then I activated, and then Marvy, and now she's digging it. And now that he's doing foundations now, and I'm just like, that was.
Well, she wants to do a monthly now too. She wants to flip over.
Right. But like just that combination of well done. Because she's mainly your athletes in the afternoon, your athlete in the afternoon.
I think,
and 9:30 with Shelly and stuff. So well done to our coaches of best representing what we are and how it goes. But well done to the two of them of like leaning into something and doing it. And then it was fun. So they make me very, very happy. That was very cool.
They're a fun couple.
And as she said, I was more excited to meet Brad today than when I met her for the first time.
Because you connected with him like for a month before you even met her.
And I told her, because we were in cahoots.
Yeah.
To get this surprise.
Gotcha. Stupid. We got her good, Brad. So funny.
Yeah.
Man.
I love that word, cahoots.
It's a good word. It's a good word. Yeah. Cool. Mine, on a sadder note, so I guess mine was, so my sister had to put her dog Roland down, like her Mastiff yesterday, which is sad. He was 9 and I think he had cancer, and it was just like, it got to the point where it was like, no go. And to be honest, I'm not going to say I didn't like the dog. I never, from the day they got him, I didn't care. There's a lot of like baggage that I have with it that I just never really, I was like, didn't care. I even like slightly resented him, but it was more like resented the people that got him, i.e. my parents at the time. So a lot going on, but he was I think so she had a roommate she thinks her boyfriend like abused him to an extent to where he became a dog where he's like, he didn't trust men. Like he barked at men, he was a little on edge when he saw men. And so like times he's like lunged at me before, he totally like full on ran at Fiona once. So I was like, that dog, swear to God. And this was well, he's like 130-pound mask, 140 pounds, something like that. He's a big dude. And so I never really liked him.
Yeah.
But like my sister loved him to death. He was a great companion. I'll tell you, like my sister, like, single chica living down in Jacksonville, and like she took that dog for walks and she was by herself. I'm telling you, like, I don't know, you can, whether, the whole like, young lady walking down the street, like in her 20s, like, in the middle of the night, sometimes like there's, there is that risk, but I guarantee you that dog probably prevented, and even having that dog in her front yard. I'm sure she had this like nice protector that was this like dog, and she loved him and he was super loyal to her. And
just watched a show. Somebody breaks into a security system. Oh, it was actually National Treasure 2. And they break into the house or something. And the one guy who's like the security tech expert nerd friend is like, that's why I always tell people, get a dog. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but it's so yeah, it was sad. I'm sad for my sister. That dog led a good life and he took care of my sister. And so my gratitude is Roland, the Mastiff that I never cared for, but he was a good egg, I guess.
Posthumously grateful for him. Posthumously.
Yeah, in the moment though, I was like, can that dog go?
Well, I mean, dogs, when they lunge at you, trigger something just, I think, deep inside of us that it is difficult to then ever not feel like the dog is going to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of effort to rewire ourselves to then be the dominant alpha. Do you know what I mean? Like that's so, and then the fact that he charged at fee, like that's, I don't, I hear
like
you.
I don't really care for this guy. And then that, I'm like, okay, now you're on the blast.
So that's tough. But like you said,
but
you know, fact that he was of service to your sister.
Yeah.
And there you go. So,
yeah.
So thanks, Roland.
Thanks, Roland.
Thanks for giving it your all. Maybe the next time around, he'll not have such a shitty upbringing and won't have to live his life in fear.
Which makes sense. He just like flipped a switch one day and she's like, I think my roommate's boyfriend may have like messed with him or like, I don't know, something. I don't know. So
but that's a good example too of how what we perceive as violence or aggressiveness is that in dogs, it's very simple. It's just fear.
It's fear.
So
100%.
Just figure out a way to make the dog feel comfortable, safe, welcomed, and give it a job. And 9 times out of 10, that dog will be fine. Violet was that way. Like she just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Her instincts are to protect. And so we just had to.
Violet was that way?
Yeah, she still barks.
Okay, so I was like, wait a second, does Violet still, you said was that way. It's like, did I miss something?
No, she still does that. Okay. But now you'll notice like she runs to the door and then immediately runs to her place.
What I mean is like, Violet didn't die and I didn't know about this. I was like, I feel like I would have known about it. Yeah. I was like, I haven't seen her in a while, but.
So she now knows, like she will never not bark when somebody comes to the door.
Yeah.
Like we are not good enough trainers to get that out of her. But she at least now barks from her little pad in the back. And she's like over there like, I'm still here, I see you.
Which is a good enough bark that if someone's there that's not supposed to be there, we'll think twice.
And meanwhile, Charlie does like a whoof, and then he's just like, you have food, right?
Come on in.
You have food, right?
Here's the fridge.
Can you open it for me?
Oh man, yeah, dogs, they're good. Yeah, they're good pets.
Though I will say, Charlie hates the dog next door down the street from us. Like it's a golden doodle.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Golden doodles walk around
and he yells at Rory. He yells at Shelly's dog all the time. Yeah, he's just like, dude, shut up. What that's all about.
Goldens actually, so people don't realize Goldens are actually like
they're pretty high on. You told me they're high on the list. Yeah.
They're stubborn.
Oh, anyway. I had a joke. I can't remember what it is.
Was it about what Spartacus said when the lion ate his wife?
No, what did he say?
Nothing. He gladiator.
Can't top that. That's a good one. Oh, mine was a doctor one, and I can't remember what it is.
I got a good one for you off the creek or off the
salty
after the grounds.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was fun. Word association.
Yeah, good stuff.
Do less, better. That's my moral, my theme, my takeaway.
Do less, better.
On the creek.
On the creek. Hey, bye.